there has been a situation between Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson, and it all starts with Shakur joining this interview because he's going to fight Teofimo Lopez, and Ryan Garcia throws some shots to Shakur saying that, oh, Shakur has no power, like he has worse power than Devin, blah blah blah. And it sparks an argument between these two. And something has been annoying me by Ryan Garcia lately, and it's been the fact that he says that I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Rolly, right? Because Shakur tells Ryan that you lost to Rolly, you can't talk to me, I'll beat you up, like blah 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 blah. And Ryan kept saying like I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Rolly, and I don't know, it just triggered me a little bit because, you know, as a Ryan Garcia fan, whenever I heard him say that, I was just like, you weren't the same fighter when you fought Rolly. And so I just wanted to make this video just so I could kind of explain why I'm feeling this way and why I feel like Ryan Garcia is constantly using this excuse of like, I wasn't the same fighter, something was wrong in training camp, I just wasn't the same fighter. And so we're going to look at the situation. I'm going to break down the bologna sandwich.
Hell no. He has less power than Devin Haney.
Shakur,
Appreciate you.
now, me and Ryan was talking about this fight, man, and I was wondering, does Shakur have enough power to keep Tio off him?
Hell no. He has less power than Devin Haney. There's no way. But I do.
And in this part, Ryan Garcia was doing too much. The way he was talking, the way he was acting, he was already doing too much. Hell nah. He has no power. He has brittle hands like Devin Haney. Hell no. Frick no. Nah, he has no power. He was already doing too much. And obviously Shakur, a competitor, a boxer, he heard that, and it's not like he's gonna just let him keep talking. He's gonna speak his mind. So Ryan was already doing too much. He was asking for it.
I have Shakur beating him, though.
Yo,
I do have you beating him.
I will whoop your ass.
Bro, I'll pop that gap right back in that mouth. I'll have you looking like a saber gap tooth tiger. Oh my God, I'll do you dirty. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You suck.
Hey,
And he did get his teeth filled out, and he does an interview with for the first time ever with like straight teeth in an interview with Cigar Talk. And the guy asks him like, why did you get the teeth? Like, what happened? That was like your signature. And Shakur was like, yeah, like, I just got it because I felt like it, you know? Like, I swear his voice got deeper. But anyways, like...
Yeah, though. You though. Oh my, here we go.
I
Hey,
don't care.
not the same
You
fighter.
lost to Rolly.
Hey, not the same fighter.
You
Not the
lost
same.
to
Hey, when I put a
Rolly.
beat on you, what are you
lost
gonna
to
say?
Rolly.
When I put a beat on you, what are you gonna say?
I watched. I was
Hey,
there.
hey, no. When I put a beat on you, I'm talking about you. You got no power. You got no power.
And you lost. And
Okay.
And this is the thing, is that he says, you lost to Rolly, like you can't be talking. And then Ryan says, I wasn't the same fighter. And we're gonna get to that in a bit. But Ryan also says like, you have no power. And it's like, I think this is where I have to stop it. I don't think there's anything else after this. I have to...
Hey,
you
say
scared
less.
him to this day.
No. You, bro, I'm gonna knock that gap right back in your mouth. I'm gonna knock that gap into your mouth.
Okay, so there's another thing here. He says that you're still scared of Rolly till this day, and then Ryan Garcia's like, hell no, I'm not. And then he goes on to say, there's a couple things, right? He says, I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Rolly. You have no power. And then Shakur goes on to say that you're still scared of Rolly till this day. In this situation I'm processing, it's like, I'm thinking a couple things. It's like, we could sit here and say that Shakur Stevenson has no power, right? We could say that. Brittle hands, whatever. But whenever it comes down to Ryan has a problem that keeps occurring. And I see it. Let's sit here and say that, oh, Shakur has no power. Ryan's only real tool and real threat is his left hook. So it's like, if Shakur has no power, but he's a good boxer, great thinker, and Ryan only has power, who do you think's gonna win that situation in a boxing fight? Because we've seen with the Rolly fight, he lost because he relied too much on the left hook. Legit, the reason why he lost that fight, and this is what triggers me so much, is he says, I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Rolly. And I'm thinking, but the reason why you lost that fight was because you were relying too much on your left hook. You were relying too much on your power. And you know what Rolly did? All he did was just, every time he threw the left hook, all he did was this. He was blocking it, because that's all you had. So if Shakur has no power, and that's like a bad thing for him, how do you think the matchup would go between you and Shakur? You really think Shakur is just gonna not know that, oh, he has a left hook, I'll just block it? Once he gets rid of that tool, what else are you gonna have? Right? When he lost to Rolly, right?
But this is how Mike Coppinger is.
He gets knocked down. Look, so this is like a couple rounds in a fight, and look at what his coach says. And mind you, right? I know I'm throwing a lot of different things, but Ryan had different coaches. He had Joe Goosen, he had Derek Lewis, which is this guy, and then he had Aaron Osos, which is Canelo Alvarez's coach. This is what Derek said whenever he got knocked out by Rolly. This is like rounds after.
I don't know how they judge him, right? So you got to get busy with the jab. You can beat him with a jab. Once you beat him with the jab, you start setting up all the other shots. He's going to be so annoyed with the jab that he's not going to think about the right hand or the left hook. So we need to keep the jab in his face to open him up. Shoot the jab, start fighting, and then step in with the right hand. Or step over.
So Derek James.
He literally tells him, mix up your shots. Use your jab. Use your jab. Use your jab. Then throw the right hook. Make him confused. Make him think. He's literally telling Ryan, stop. Use your jab. Use your jab. Use your jab. Because he's relying too much on the left hook. It's easy to read. Because that's what Rolly did. All Rolly did was he just blocked the left hook. And you know what happened? He got knocked out. He paid for it. And Rolly says that. There's an interview somewhere, but you can find it. It's there. But Rolly, he even said himself that, like, because I'm not just saying this out of my own opinion. Rolly says this. Rolly Romero. He says that, you know, as soon as he clipped him and dropped him, he felt that his confidence went away. You know? As soon as he dropped him, it felt like Ryan's momentum was just gone. He just lost his confidence. His confidence was diminished. He didn't want to fight anymore. Because he neutralized the left hook. That's all he had to do. And that's what Rolly says too. All he did was just block the left hook, and it was just an easy night for him. I don't know if he said easy, but point I'm saying is that that's all Rolly had to do, was just block the left hook, and he was good. Derek kept telling him, use your jab, use your jab. Use your jab and then throw the left hook. Because it's not like you can just throw the left hook all day and just expect something. If you have a smart fighter like Shakur, like Rolly, they're going to be expecting the left hook, and all they're going to do is just block it. Your left hook is nothing if you don't have your jab behind it. And I'm not a boxer, but I'm just speaking purely off of what Rolly has said. All he did was block the left hook, and he won the fight. I want to go back here, right? Because Shakur says that you're scared of Rolly till this day, and you could think of this as if like he's just trash talking, trying to get into Ryan's head. But Rolly does an Instagram live, right? You could find it. Rolly does an Instagram live. He's a little drunk. He's a little tipsy. I don't know if I'm gonna pull it up. But he explains how, like, he's been waiting to rematch Ryan Garcia. He's been waiting. But he doesn't want to take the fight. And I don't know if there was a rematch clause or whatever where it's like if they fight and one of them loses, they have to fight again. I don't know if that's in place, but Rolly said that he's been waiting for Ryan Garcia to fight him. That's why Shakur, I feel like that's why Shakur said that, right? You're still scared of Ryan, you're still scared of Rolly till this day. I feel like that's why he said that. Because Rolly's waiting to fight him. He's waiting for the rematch against Ryan Garcia. So it just doesn't feel right hearing Ryan say that I wasn't the same fighter. I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Rolly. And then Shakur's like, you lost to Rolly, you lost to Rolly. And it's like, how many times am I gonna hear him say that? I wasn't the same fighter. I wasn't the same fighter. He says this, right? When he fought Gervonta Davis. And I'm being honest with you. Ryan Garcia, he was dehydrated. He was a skeleton in the ring. He had a rib injury. There was definitely rats in his camp giving out all type of information to Gervonta. Ryan Garcia was effed up in this fight. Like, he was cooked in this fight. And he knew it too. He gave out a lot of stories and interviews talking about how before he even got into the ring, he knew he was done. He was going to lose the fight. He was dehydrated. He was a skeleton. He had a rib injury. It was over. There was rats in his camp telling Gervonta all types of information. He was cooked. Whenever Ryan said that I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Gervonta and the fight could have ended differently if I wasn't weight drained, I believed him when he said that. When he said that, like, I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Gervonta. It would have been different if I had more water in my system. I believe him. I believe him. I believed him. I feel like if this fight was in a comfortable weight where he wasn't weight drained, I feel like this fight would have ended completely differently. Do I think that Ryan could have won it? No. Because this goes back to what I was saying. Ryan relies too much on the left hook. He doesn't use his jab, which a lot of his coaches, and I'm going to show you this right now, a lot of his coaches tell him, stop relying on the power, stop using your left hook, use your jab, use your jab, use your jab. Look at what his coach says, Joe Goosen.
Uppercut too, he's looking for that. So keep the jab going. That little right hand that you threw at the end, that'll get close. Keep working that. Throw him off every so often and throw that.
Throw the jab, throw the jab, throw the jab, throw the jab. Do you see where I'm going with this? All his coaches have told him, use your jab, use your jab, use your jab. Mix in the shots, like get him confused, then throw the left hook, then throw the right hook. Because, like I said, Ryan relies too much on the left hook. And once you get on a big level, when you fight a Gervonta, when you fight a Shakur, when you fight a Teofimo, a Rolly, they're going to block that left hook all day, every day. So what's going to happen when they blocked your left hook? Are you going to keep trying to go for it? Yes, you are. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to pay the price. And that's what happened when he fought Rolly. Is that he kept trying to go for the power punch. He kept trying to go for the power punch. He gets knocked down. He loses his confidence. And this is what Rolly says. He lost his confidence. You know? Like, he lost his confidence as soon as he got dropped. And he couldn't do anything after that. Even though Derek Lewis kept telling him, use your jab, use your jab, use your jab. Ryan wasn't really listening because his confidence was diminished. He didn't want to fight anymore. So it's like, how can we sit here and say, Ryan, that you weren't the same fighter? You weren't the same. I wasn't the same fighter against Rolly, when it's like you have some tendencies that you can't do anymore. This is not the amateurs. This is not when you fought. This is not 2019 where you got dropped by Luke Campbell and you recovered. Ryan Garcia relies too much on his left hook. He relies too much on his power. And when he does, he pays the price. He gets knocked down. And his coaches keep telling him, keep throwing the jab, keep throwing the jab. But he doesn't listen because at the end of the day, he keeps trying to throw the power punch, and that's what he gets. And that's what he did against Gervonta. He kept trying to knock him out. But I excuse him because he was weight drained. He wasn't the same fighter as he was that day, as in that night. And I give it to him. But with Rolly, there was no weight issue. And if you look after the fight with Rolly, after the fight, he says that he didn't feel like himself. He didn't, like, something was off. And this is another thing that he does, right? He doesn't listen to his coach. He relies too much on his left hook. But he always has this thing where it's like something was wrong. Something happened. Like a wizard cursed him or something. Like a witch cursed him.
Just couldn't get anything going. I felt for myself in training camp. Like I didn't feel like I had more conditioning or more energy or more sharp. I just feel like I couldn't. Nothing was like, you know, progressing in any way, and I just felt weird and off. And I would mention it to Derek, and you know, we were just trying to figure it out, you know. But we only had 5 weeks together, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know why I can't get no, you know, I guess progressive, you know, sharpness coming into.
Like it's like progressive sharpness. Something was wrong. Like something was not right. And like I say, he said this with Gervonta Davis. Like anytime he would land a punch, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it connected. Like something was wrong. And like I say, I believe him because he was weight drained against Gervonta. Of course, he felt off that day, of course. But with Rolly, it's like this was at 140, 147. The weight's not the issue. So what's the issue? Oh, I feel like I didn't have like a progressive sharpness. Like something was off. And I'm thinking to myself, what? And like I said, I don't know if Ryan truly felt that way, but it's like, it was clear to me in the fight that you lost because you were relying too much on your left hook. And I want to go to another topic, which is the fact that Ryan doesn't really listen to his coaches. Right? This fight right here, he gets dropped against Luke Campbell, right? This was literally before he gets knocked out. Eddie Reynoso is telling Ryan, don't try to, you know, throw power punches because he could counter you. And his dad's right here translating. Look, listen.
Sí, porque te quiere casar con la izquierda o con el upper. Ten cuidado cuando.
I don't know if you could hear, but he said, "Don't rush in because he could counter you. Be careful."
Entres, porque te puede recibir con el upper o con el recto. Ya te agarró ahorita. Tranquilo. De aquí.
When you're fighting,
yeah, be careful. He could counter you. Be careful. And then look, he literally gets dropped. The next round. So it's like his coach tells him, watch out, like don't try to pressure him too much or don't try to throw any big shots because he's gonna counter. Don't get desperate. And this is what happens. He pays the price. But obviously he gets up and he bounces back. He adjusts. This is another scenario where it's like, how could I believe you when you said that I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Rolly? Right? But it's like, the weight wasn't the issue. The only logical thing I could think of is you were relying too much on the power shots, relying too much on the left hook. You paid the price. Your confidence got diminished, and you couldn't fight the whole entire fight because you got rid of your confidence. You couldn't throw any more punches anymore, and your coach was telling you, start mixing the jab. Like, stop trying to throw the left hook. Joe Goosen tells him, throw the jab. And in both of these fights, he gets dropped. But the difference is that he was weight drained in this fight. You know? definitely, he looked like a skeleton in that ring.
Ringside.
Like, he just did not look, he just did not feel or look the same. He even talked about how he would get like splinters on his lips. He would be desperately trying to make the weight. He was killing himself to make the weight. I believe him here, but when he talks about this fight where it's like, I wasn't the same fighter, Shakur, I wasn't the same fighter against Rolly, it's like, I feel like the reason why you lost is not because there was no progressive sharpness that was coming in, or there was just something wasn't clicking or whatever. No, it was just because you relied too much on your left hook, you relied too much on your power, and you paid the price. And Rolly says this, like, the confidence was diminished. There was nothing. He didn't want to fight anymore. There's a little short clip. I try to find another clip where he said this, because I swear he said this in another interview. But Joe Goosen, right? He trained him for the tank fight when he was dehydrated. He trained him for many other fights. He talks about how, like, Ryan's a special human being, and he likes to kind of do things on his own. I swear there was another clip where he talks about how, like, he would have Ryan on a specific training regimen, just like every other fighter that he had. He would have them all on the same program, boxing program, training program. And when he would give Ryan these training programs that he would give all his fighters, Ryan would kind of like rebel and say things like, oh, I don't want to do this because I usually, you know, do the heavy back so I could train on my jab and blah, blah, blah. And Joe Goosen would be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll let you do that if it works for you. I swear there was a clip of him saying that, but look, this is what he says about Ryan. You don't train Ryan, you collaborate with him.
So he surprises me there, but I've said it before. I go, you don't really train Ryan Garcia. You collaborate with him.
And he says this, I swear he said this in another interview, but he always says this about Ryan. I mean, he speaks very positive about Ryan, about how he's a hard worker and he kills people in sparring. Like, he does amazing in sparring. But he always says this to where, you don't, like, Ryan doesn't, it's like he listens, but it's when you give him specific orders, he does kind of his own road. He kind of does his own thing. And he goes on a stream with, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to pull it up, but it's there. He talks with Neon, right? And if you don't know who Neon is, he's like a streamer, right? And he did a stream with him. And Ryan kind of talks about, or I think it was with India Love. I don't know if you guys know who India Love is, but she's basically like a... She's basically a girl that's been with like every rapper, every dude in the planet, right? She's literally only famous because she just loves dating famous dudes. Lil Yachty, Sheck West, Devin Haney. She dated Devin Haney. But I don't know where you could find the clip, but it was either when he was talking to Neon the streamer or India Love, and he talks about how, like, you know, every punch I landed, it didn't feel right. It didn't. And anytime I'd connect, it didn't feel like something was off. When he was talking about the fight with Rolly, and I was kind of thinking, like, I heard that before, and he said this multiple times everywhere when he fought Javante. Like, I didn't feel right. I was weight drained. I was killing myself to make the weight, and every time I would connect punches, something was wrong. Like, I didn't feel right. And when I heard him say that about the Rolly fight, I'm like, no, that's some BS. Like, as a Ryan Garcia fan, I believed you when you said that you didn't feel right when you fought Javante because you were weight drained. But when you talk about the fight with Rolly, it's like there was no weight issue. So what was the issue? My progressive sharpness, like something was wrong, like in training camp. Like, I was trying to get rid of my anxiety, but it's just, I couldn't make it disappear. But I'm looking at this fight, and it's like, it seems like the issue was you were relying too much on your left hook. You were relying too much on the power, and you paid for it. Look, he's literally doing it. He's blocking. He's like, oh, better watch out. Better watch out. Don't want to get hit by the left or right hook. Better watch out. You paid the price because you relied too much on your left hook. You didn't use your jab like all your coaches told you in the Gervonta fight. Use your jab, use your jab, use your jab. And the Rolly fight, use your jab, use your jab, use your jab, you know, like so you can make them confused, make them open up. You can't listen, you have a tendency of not listening to your coaches. You rely too much on your left hook. You don't use your jab often. So if you go back to here, I'm not the same fighter. I'm not the same fighter.
So you though. Oh my, here we go.
I
Hey,
don't care.
not the same fighter.
You lost to Rolly. I'm not the same fighter. Not the same fighter. How? Progressive sharpness. Like I didn't feel mentally right. And like I said, I don't want to be disrespectful and say that he's just BSing, but there's a pattern that I see with Ryan Garcia when he fought Luke Campbell. His trainer, Eddie Reynoso, told him, you know, watch out because he might counter you. Don't try to pressure in too much. Like, he might counter you. Boom, he gets knocked out. With the Gervonta fight, he was weight drained. He wasn't the same fighter. I agree with that. But Eddie Reynoso or Joe Goosen tells him, you know, use the jab. Use the jab a little bit. Use the jab. And Ryan has admitted that, you know, he did want to kind of get out of there because he knew he was going to lose. And I believe you, Ryan Garcia. I believe you. But with the Rolly fight, Rolly says this, and it's like he was relying too much on the left hook. Derek Lewis tells him, use your jab. Ryan Garcia relied too much on his left hook, on his power, and he paid the price. So whenever he comes on here is talking about, I'll knock that gap out of you. I wasn't the same fighter when I fought Rolly. I don't believe that anymore. I do not believe that anymore. And I'm the guy that defended. I don't know if it's on my channel, right? But I thought that Ryan Garcia was innocent when he got popped for PEDs against Devin. I truly believe that he didn't actually use steroids. And I feel like the amount that he had didn't actually have any effect on the fight. Because, you know, even a lot of boxers after the fight were literally saying that Devin was just not fighting the same at all. Like his footwork was different. Like that's a whole other topic. But I believe that Ryan Garcia was weight drained against Gervonta Davis. He wasn't the same fighter in that fight. I feel like the PEDs that he had in his system didn't affect his performance against Devin at all. Because Devin was already fighting differently off the jump, which a lot of boxers have mentioned. So it's like, whenever he talks about, I wasn't the same fighter against Rolly, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Because it was clearly a technical issue that he was facing. He was relying too much on the left hook. And if Ryan and Shakur were to fight, I feel like Shakur would win. Simply off of that fact. It's unfortunate because I don't want Ryan to be in a position where Shakur's being successful, Teofimo's being successful, Abdullah Maces is being successful, Keyshawn's being successful, Gervonta Davis is being successful. All these fighters are moving around. His generation of fighters, they're all moving around, making moves, making fights happen, and then Ryan's just kind of there. Just kind of like waiting for someone to call him out. Him taking shots, but no one taking him seriously. I don't want Ryan to reach that position where nobody cares about him anymore because he's just always on and off. We don't know what type of Ryan we're going to get. He's losing, and then it's like he talks about, I wasn't there, mental clarity. I don't know. I was just, every time I throw shots, it didn't feel right. He would come out with these excuses, and now Ryan Garcia is going to fight Mario Barrios for a belt. And that just doesn't make sense to me. How are you going to go lose a fight and then fight a guy with a belt? I don't know. I'm not a Ryan Garcia hater. I love Ryan Garcia. Like I said, I've defended him multiple times, but this is just some bologna sandwiches. I just don't believe that. I believe that Rolly beat him because he just countered his left hook. Rolly is still looking for that rematch. And that's why Shakur says in this, you're scared of Rolly. Rolly's doing Instagram lives, drunk, gonna eat some Korean barbecue, talking about, Ryan, I need that rematch. I've been waiting for you, Ryan. And now you're gonna go fight Mario Barrios for the belt, which doesn't make sense. Ryan Garcia, I'm praying for you. I hope you do good, you do okay in boxing, because I don't want you to just be in the corner, just watching everyone have success while you're just waiting for someone to call you out. I don't want you to go on a losing streak. I don't want you to be the uncrowned king that never became king.